What if the most dangerous version of you isn't the loudest, not the strongest, not the most aggressive? What if the most dangerous version of you is the one who can't be easily provoked, the one who doesn't reveal everything, the one who doesn't need approval, the one who can wait, observe, think, and then act with precision? Most people spend their lives becoming easier to read. You know exactly what makes them angry, exactly what makes them insecure, exactly what makes them desperate for attention. And because their emotions are visible, their behavior becomes predictable. Predictable people are easy to influence. But the moment you learn to govern yourself, something changes. You become harder to manipulate, harder to intimidate, harder to control. And that is where real power begins, not with control over other people, with control over yourself. Today, we're going to explore some uncomfortable lessons about human nature, power, restraint, and strategy through the lens of Niccolo Machiavelli. But understand this before we begin. This is not a lesson in becoming cruel. It is not permission to manipulate people. And it is definitely not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming difficult to manipulate because you understand yourself and because you understand the game being played around you. So don't just listen to this video. Put your mind through it. Question yourself as we go. Notice which ideas make you uncomfortable. Notice where your ego starts defending your current behavior. Because by the end of this session, I want you to know something. Have you actually been training your mind? Or have you simply been protecting your weaknesses? Welcome to the mental gym. Let's begin. The first transformation is uncomfortable because it requires you to abandon one of the most seductive beliefs in the world, that good intentions are enough. They aren't. You can be kind and still be naive. You can be generous and still have terrible boundaries. You can be loyal to someone who is destroying you. You can mean well and still repeatedly walk into situations that damage you. This is where wisdom must enter the picture. Machiavelli understood something about human nature that polite society often prefers not to discuss. People do not always respond to your intentions. They respond to incentives, to consequences, to perception, to opportunity, and sometimes to weakness. That doesn't mean everyone is secretly waiting to betray you. That would be paranoia, not wisdom. But assuming that everyone will treat your kindness responsibly is equally foolish. Strength begins when kindness becomes a choice rather than an obligation. When you can help someone without needing them to love you. When you can say no without writing a paragraph explaining why. When you can forgive without giving someone unlimited access to you again. When you can care about someone and still walk away. That is not coldness. That is emotional sovereignty. Ask yourself, how many problems in your life came from being too kind? Now ask the better question. How many came from being kind without boundaries? Those are very different things. Your goal is not to destroy your compassion. Your goal is to remove the desperation underneath it. The desperation to be liked. The desperation to be understood. The desperation to prove you are a good person. Because the moment you need everyone to believe you are good, you become vulnerable to anyone willing to call you bad. They criticize you. You panic. They misunderstand you. You explain. They withdraw approval. You chase. They become disappointed. You abandon your judgment to restore peace. And suddenly, they are controlling you without ever giving you an order. That is why one of the strongest sentences you can learn is, "They are allowed to misunderstand me." Read that again in your mind. They are allowed to misunderstand me. You don't have to correct every opinion. You don't have to defend every decision. Sometimes the strongest response is allowing someone to have the wrong idea about you while you continue building your life. This brings us to the second discipline, silence. Most people underestimate silence because they confuse it with weakness. They think power has to announce itself. They think confidence has to speak first. They think intelligence has to prove itself. But watch what happens when someone feels insecure. They talk, they explain, they fill empty space. They reveal things nobody asked them to reveal. They announce plans before those plans have produced anything. They tell people what they're going to build, what they're going to buy. And for a moment, talking about the future gives them the emotional reward of actually creating it. That is dangerous. There is a strange kind of discipline in keeping something private until it becomes real. Your next move does not always need an audience. Your goals do not always need witnesses. Your pain does not always need public interpretation. Some things grow better in silence. Think about how much information you voluntarily give people every day. Your frustrations, your insecurities, your relationship problems, your financial worries, your fears, your next move, your resentment towards someone else. Now ask yourself, does everyone receiving that information deserve access to it? Probably not. Privacy is not dishonesty. Privacy is selectivity. There are people who should know your heart. There are people who should know your plans. There are people who should know your vulnerabilities. But those categories should be earned, not assumed. And silence has another advantage. It allows you to listen. This sounds simple. It isn't. Most people do not listen to understand. They listen while preparing their next sentence. But if you stop trying to impress people, they become fascinating. People tell you what they value. They tell you what they fear. They tell you what they resent. They tell you what they envy. They tell you how they treat people who can do nothing for them. You just have to stop performing long enough to notice. This is where Machiavellian observation becomes useful without becoming manipulative. You are not studying people so you can exploit them. You are studying them so you stop being surprised by them. Listen to how someone speaks about absent friends. One day, you may be the absent friend. Watch what happens when someone hears the word no. Watch what happens when there is nothing to gain. Watch what happens when another person succeeds. Watch how they behave towards someone with less status. Watch whether their apologies change their behavior. Words matter. Patterns matter more. This can save you years, because one of the most expensive mistakes you can make is falling in love with somebody's potential while ignoring their pattern. They could change. Maybe. They have a good heart. Maybe. They didn't mean it. Maybe. But what do they repeatedly do? That question is colder. It is also more useful. Your life improves when you stop negotiating with evidence. And this leads to the third discipline, emotional control. There are people who can control your entire day with one sentence, one insult, one message, one rejection, one look, one comment online, and suddenly your mind belongs to them for 6 hours. Think about how absurd that is. They may have forgotten the interaction entirely. Meanwhile, you are replaying it, rewriting imaginary conversations, thinking of what you should have said, building arguments with someone who isn't even in the room. Who has the power in that situation? Not you. The person who can provoke you on command can direct your behavior. That doesn't mean you should never become angry. Anger is information. Fear is information. Jealousy is information. Your emotions are signals, but signals are not commands. This distinction can change your life. You can feel anger and wait. You can feel fear and move. You can feel jealousy and investigate what it is revealing about your own desires. You can feel insulted and decide the insult deserves no response. The immature mind says, I feel it, therefore I must act. The trained mind says, I feel it. Now, what is the intelligent response? That gap between emotion and action is where your power lives, and you can train it. The next time something provokes you, do not immediately respond. Wait 10 minutes if possible, an hour if possible, a day if necessary. Let the first wave pass, because the first version of your response often exists to discharge emotion. The later version exists to solve the problem. Those are not the same thing. A message written while angry can create a problem that lasts for years. A decision made from wounded pride can cost money. A confrontation fueled by ego can destroy a relationship. You do not become powerful by having fewer emotions. You become powerful by requiring your emotions to pass through judgment before they become behavior. That is mental training. And now we arrive at something even harder. Patience. Modern life has trained you to hate waiting. Food arrives quickly. Entertainment starts instantly. Information appears in seconds. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin expecting your life to operate at the same speed. You start a business. Where are the results? You start training. Where is the body? You upload 5 videos. Where is the audience? You begin investing. Where is the wealth? You practice something for 3 months. Why am I not exceptional yet? This is one of the greatest competitive advantages available today. The ability to continue when the reward is delayed. Because most people cannot. They become bored. They become discouraged. They confuse lack of immediate evidence with lack of progress. Then they quit. Patience is not sitting still. Patience is continuing intelligently without demanding constant emotional rewards. There is a huge difference. The patient person still works, still learns, still adjusts, still attacks the problem, but they do not need the universe to congratulate them every 7 days. Imagine what happens when you combine urgency in your daily actions with patience about the outcome. That person becomes difficult to compete with. They work today like time matters, but they think in years. They don't need instant recognition. They don't need to look successful while becoming successful. They can tolerate being underestimated. They can tolerate the uncomfortable period when nobody understands what they are building. Can you? That is your next test. Could you work on something important for 12 months with almost nobody praising you? Could you train while nobody notices your body changing? Could you save money while other people spend theirs publicly? Could you build your skill while someone less capable gets more attention? Could you continue? Because that is where many futures are decided, not in dramatic moments, in boring Tuesdays, in quiet mornings, in repeated actions nobody sees. You don't need more intensity if your intensity only lasts 3 days. You need consistency that survives boredom. And this brings us to a principle that can make you look almost invisible while becoming extremely dangerous in the best sense of the word. Stop needing to be seen improving. There is a difference between becoming powerful and appearing powerful. Weakness often wants witnesses. It buys symbols before building substance. It wants the expensive car before financial security, the impressive title before competence, the motivational speech before results. It wants everyone to know. Why? Because perception can temporarily provide the feeling that reality has not yet earned. But eventually, reality collects the debt. Machiavelli cared deeply about appearances because perception affects behavior. But there is a deeper lesson here. Understand perception. Do not become addicted to it. You should know how you are perceived. But your entire identity cannot depend on controlling that perception. Sometimes the smartest move is letting someone underestimate you. You do not need to prove your intelligence in every conversation. You do not need to show your money. You do not need to announce your network. You do not need to win every verbal battle. There is extraordinary freedom in not needing strangers to know what you are capable of. Let results introduce you. Let discipline introduce you. Let consistency introduce you. Let your ability to remain calm when everyone else loses control introduce you. Quiet competence is intimidating because it has nothing to prove. And this is where we need to talk about something that gets misunderstood constantly. Being unreadable. Do not become emotionally dead. Do not treat everyone around you like an enemy. That is insecurity wearing armor. Real emotional control is selective openness. The right people should know you. The people you love should experience warmth from you. Strength without intimacy becomes isolation. But strangers, competitors, people who have not earned your trust, do not automatically deserve unrestricted access to your inner world. You can be warm without being transparent, friendly without being naive, respectful without being submissive, private without being deceptive. This balance matters, because there is another trap hidden inside content about power. You can become obsessed with appearing cold. Then coldness itself becomes another performance. You start ignoring people just to look important. You delay responses to manipulate perception. You suppress normal emotions because you think emotion equals weakness. You become suspicious of everyone. That is not mastery. That is fear trying to cosplay as strength. The goal is not to feel nothing. The goal is to choose what deserves expression. A calm man who is terrified of showing emotion is not free. He is controlled by the image he is trying to maintain. Real power is flexible. You can laugh, you can love, you can grieve, you can care deeply. And when the moment requires discipline, you can still think clearly. That is much harder than simply becoming cold. Now, I want you to perform an audit, not tomorrow. Right now, think of the last 7 days. Where did somebody control your emotions? Who made you angry? Who made you insecure? Whose approval did you chase? Where did you explain yourself unnecessarily? What did you announce before you had actually done it? Where did you speak because silence felt uncomfortable? Where did you react immediately and regret it later? Where did you ignore a pattern because you preferred the story you had created about someone? Do not judge yourself. Observe yourself. You cannot strategically improve behavior you refuse to see. This is where the mental gym becomes more than something you watch. This is your repetition, your set, your exercise. Pick one moment from the last 7 days that you handled badly. Just one. Now replay it mentally, but remove the ego. What would the strongest version of you have done? Maybe nothing. Maybe they would have waited. Maybe they would have asked one question instead of giving a speech. Maybe they would have walked away. Maybe they would have said no. Maybe they would have admitted they were wrong. Do not confuse strength with always winning. Sometimes the strongest move is, I was wrong. Because an insecure person protects their ego, a strong person protects reality. If you discover that you were wrong, change direction immediately. There is no prize for confidently walking toward the wrong destination. This is another lesson people often miss when studying Machiavelli. Strategy requires adaptation. You cannot become attached to your own plan. The world changes. People change. Circumstances change. If your identity becomes attached to one strategy, you will defend it long after it stops working. Your principles should be stable. Your tactics should be flexible. Your principle might be, I protect my health. The tactic may change. Your principle might be, I build financial independence. The tactic may change. Your principle might be, I refuse disrespect. How you respond can change depending on context. Your principle might be, I tell the truth. How much information you reveal, when, and to whom still requires judgment. A rigid person breaks. A strategic person adjusts. And now we arrive at relationships. This is where emotional discipline becomes painfully real. Not everyone deserves the same access to you. That sounds obvious. Most people still do the opposite. They give strangers access to their attention. Co-workers access to their emotional state. Acquaintances access to their plans. People who repeatedly betrayed them access to their forgiveness. Then they wonder why their life feels chaotic. Access should have levels. Trust should have levels. Intimacy should have levels. And those levels should be determined by behavior over time. Not charm, not promises, not chemistry. Time, consistency. Patterns. This does not mean constantly testing people. That becomes toxic. Simply observe. People eventually reveal themselves. Your job is to believe what repeated behavior teaches you. If someone only calls when they need something, notice. If someone celebrates you publicly but competes with you privately, notice. If someone repeatedly violates a boundary and then apologizes beautifully, notice the violation, not merely the apology. If someone has supported you quietly for years, notice that too. Do not become so focused on detecting enemies that you become blind to loyalty. A strategic mind recognizes both danger and value. That is wisdom. Paranoia sees threats everywhere. Naivety sees threats nowhere. Wisdom sees what is actually there. And if you want to become harder to manipulate, learn another rule. Do not make decisions when you desperately need something. Need creates blindness. When you desperately need a relationship, you ignore red flags. When you desperately need money, you accept terrible deals. When you desperately need approval, you betray your principles. When you desperately need to win an argument, you say things you cannot take back. Desperation narrows your vision. So whenever you feel, I need this, ask, what happens if I don't get it? Sit with that possibility. Maybe it hurts. Maybe it changes your plans. But often, you discover that you would survive. And the moment you know you can walk away, your negotiating position changes. This applies to jobs, relationships, deals, friendships, opportunities, even arguments. The ability to walk away is not about threatening people. It is about knowing that your identity will survive the loss. That creates calm, and calm changes how you move. Now let's talk about revenge, because any conversation about becoming colder and more strategic eventually arrives here. Someone betrays you, humiliates you, uses you, lies to you. The emotional mind wants balance restored immediately. You want them to hurt, you want them to know, you want to prove something. But revenge has a hidden cost: attention. To remain committed to revenge, you must remain psychologically connected to the person who hurt you. They still occupy your mind. They still influence your decisions. They still determine where your energy goes. Is that power? Sometimes the coldest response is not revenge. It is removal. No dramatic announcement, no speech, no campaign. You simply stop giving the person access to your future. You learn, you become harder to fool, and you move forward. That does not mean consequences disappear. If someone harms you, protect yourself. If something illegal happened, use appropriate channels. If a boundary was violated, enforce it. But do not confuse justice with obsession. Your future is too expensive to spend financing hatred. Use betrayal as information, not identity. That lesson alone can save years of your life. Now, think about fear. The person who understands your greatest fear can often predict your behavior. Fear of abandonment, fear of failure, fear of poverty, fear of being ordinary, fear of being alone, fear of disappointing your family, fear of starting over. These fears become invisible strings. People may not even consciously manipulate them. You manipulate yourself. You stay because you fear loneliness. You don't start because you fear embarrassment. You overspend because you fear looking unsuccessful. You remain silent because you fear conflict. You say yes because you fear rejection. So if you want fewer strings, you must meet your fears voluntarily. Practice being misunderstood. Practice saying no. Practice being alone. Practice failing at small things. Practice allowing somebody else to have the last word. Practice delaying gratification. Practice doing difficult things without telling anyone. Every voluntary discomfort cuts a string, and slowly you become less controllable. This is why physical discipline matters too. Not because muscles automatically create wisdom. They don't. But deliberately doing something physically uncomfortable teaches a useful lesson. Your mind can demand comfort, and you do not have to obey. Train, walk, run, lift, wake up when you said you would. Finish the difficult set. Keep the promise you made privately. Every time you do this, you are teaching your nervous system. Discomfort is not an emergency. That lesson transfers. The difficult conversation becomes easier. The rejection becomes survivable. The boring work becomes tolerable. You stop needing everything to feel good before you can function. And that makes you dangerous to your old habits. That is the kind of danger I care about. Not danger to other people. Danger to the excuses that have controlled you. Danger to the version of you that keeps saying, tomorrow, next week, when I feel ready, when I have more confidence, when the circumstances improve. No, you already know what waiting does. You have evidence. So now we build something different. A daily operating system. Nothing complicated. 5 rules. Rule 1. Do not respond at emotional peak. If you are furious, wait. If you are desperate, wait. If you are euphoric, sometimes wait then too. Strong emotion distorts judgment in both directions. Rule 2. Do not announce what should still be built. Protect early progress from unnecessary opinions. Let the work become strong before you expose it. Rule 3. Watch patterns, not promises, not speeches, not intentions, patterns, including your own. Rule 4. Do one uncomfortable thing deliberately every day. Train your ability to act without needing comfort. Rule 5. At night, audit yourself. Where did I lose control today? Where did I act well? Where did I seek approval? Where should I have spoken? What will I do differently tomorrow? 5 rules. Simple, not easy. And if you actually practice them for 30 days, you will notice something. Your life may not look dramatically different from the outside, but inside, the chain of command will have changed. Other people's opinions will have less authority. Your emotions will have less authority. Comfort will have less authority. And your judgment will have more. That is self-command. That is the foundation. Because here's the truth about becoming powerful. If you cannot govern yourself, power only magnifies your weakness. Give an insecure person status, and they become addicted to admiration. Give an impulsive person money, and they create larger impulsive mistakes. Give an angry person authority, and everyone beneath them pays for their lack of control. Character comes first. Power reveals it. This is why your goal should never simply be become powerful. Your goal should be become someone capable of carrying power without becoming corrupted by it. That is a much higher standard. And now I want to return to the question from the beginning. Have you been training your mind or protecting your weaknesses? Because listening to this does nothing by itself. You can watch 1,000 videos about discipline and remain undisciplined. You can memorize Marcus Aurelius and still lose control because somebody insulted you online. You can quote Machiavelli and still tell everybody your plans because you need validation. Knowledge does not transform you. Applied knowledge does. So choose one thing from this session, not 10. 1. Maybe you stop explaining every decision. Maybe you wait before responding when angry. Maybe you finally enforce a boundary. Maybe you stop chasing someone who repeatedly shows you they do not value you. Choose one. Then prove it through behavior. And if you're willing to do that, write this in the comments. I govern myself. Not because typing a sentence makes you stronger. It doesn't. Use it as a contract. Then earn the sentence. Because the mental gym was never supposed to be a place where you collect motivational quotes. This is training. Every video should leave you with something to practice, something to confront, something to change. We are not here to make you feel powerful for 30 minutes. We are here to help you become harder to control for the rest of your life. And remember, being cold is easy. Being wise is harder. Being aggressive is easy. Being controlled is harder. Talking about your plans is easy. Building quietly is harder. Looking powerful is easy. Becoming capable is harder. Choose harder. Build quietly. Observe carefully. Protect your attention. Control your reactions. Let people reveal themselves. Think in years. Act today. And never confuse kindness with weakness or strength with cruelty. The strongest version of you does not need to become less human. It needs to become less governed by fear, ego, impulse, and approval. That is the transformation. Not becoming heartless, becoming self-directed, not becoming dangerous to everyone around you, becoming dangerous to everything inside you that has kept you small. And that is where we'll end today's training. Here, we don't chase motivation. We forge minds that keep moving when motivation disappears. We don't build followers. We build people who can think for themselves. People who can stand alone without becoming bitter and stand with others without becoming dependent. This is the mental gym. Train quietly, think clearly, move deliberately, and let your character speak before your mouth does. Until next time.